Yellowstone's my favorite show.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Number one on the agenda is approval of the minutes, April 14th, 2026 meeting. Everybody look them over.
I'll move the minutes to be approved. It's submitted.
Second. It's been properly moved and seconded that the minutes get submitted as they are. Any discussion? Not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Number two, request for postponement from April 14th, 2026 to June 9th, 2026. Public hearing waiver from section 2.203 of the subdivision regulations to waive the requirement of a site plan for proposed 3,000 square foot auto body shop, approximately 6,160 square feet of parking and drive aisle, property owner Auto Depot of Charlestown, Attention, Jackson Kelly. Property location 107 Furnace Drive, Harpers Ferry. Partial ID there, size 2.25 acres, zoning district, industrial, commercial.
I don't have any additional update on that. Staff has been meeting with the applicants. What we've done in the past is allow an applicant to postpone twice before having to resubmit or re-advertise or anything. This meeting serves as notice that it has been postponed to the June 9th meeting. So at this time, that's all that needs to be resolved regarding this agenda item.
All right. Next item on the agenda is number 3, discussion and possible action. Staff update regarding a proposed text amendment to revise language on solar energy facilities, the zoning and land development ordinance, section 2.2, section 4.13, and section 8.20, and add the specific requirements for solar energy facilities to the subdivision and land development regulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'll lead off with just a brief introduction. A number of years ago, the county commission and frankly around the same time, planning commission started investigating an update to our solar ordinance, which was originally adopted a few years prior. We have 5 projects that have been proposed for the county, and following construction of one of them, not to mention several of us did tours the facility and had some very significant concerns about what was done to the project area. This started coming in through the work, and since then, our zoning administrator and our county engineer have been hard at work with the text before you. We have met with the chief county engineer, Roger Goodwin, with the land development inspector, Will Smith, and this is basically a culmination of all that work. There's a bunch of different things in here, but really the text I'm going to hand off to Mr. Saunders and Mr. Bell to go through the gritty details of the proposed text amendment. I would note that there are 2 different ones. It is partially amendment to the subdivision regulations, and because of the way our ordinances are written, it also requires some amendments to the zoning ordinance. So based on what happens next, we'll go through those steps. Typically we do need to do a public hearing, but that is not required at this time. What we need from the planning commission this evening is essentially direction moving forward. If that is to set up a public hearing, if that is to direct staff to make specific edits, whatever that direction is, that's partially why it's here for you today, and also to actually hear the presentation by the staff members who put this together.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. Yeah, so back in September of 25, so the original discussion was to possibly change the zones in which solar energy facilities are permitted either by right or by conditional use. The last page of the text amendment shows Appendix C, which at that time we had moved that as a commercial use. And no, I'm sorry, page are you on?
This is zoning.
Yeah, I'm sorry, zone. So we had moved this to the industrial use. And then basically conditional use in the rural. You can see the different ones, not been very familiar with conditional use. At that meeting in September, the commission motioned to go ahead and leave it as is. So again, we're back to where it's permitted by right in the urban growth boundary and preferred growth area, and there's a conditional use outside those areas, which include the rural zoning district. Remember, they're not permitted. Let's see. It's not permitted in the neighborhood district. Sorry, neighborhood commercial plan. And the OC district, the IC district. So anyway, so what we've done, basically then, we've beefed up the buffer and setback requirements per Commissioner Hayes's recommendations last fall, at this time, probably last summer. And we've added the requirement that all solar projects must process as a major site development with a concept and full site plan. And also added at the end is the enforcement of the ordinance, which is directly verbatim from section 3.3 of the zoning ordinance for all zoning violations. I don't know how much detail you want from me. Do you have any questions?
Do you think we could kind of go over some of the buffer differences that you're proposing and some of the kind of guardrails that you're adding in?
Yeah, so basically everything in red is new. There's the major site development requirements. What should be submitted with those.
Andy, can I ask you a question about that? This is just presentation wise, so you have a line through for major go to full site plan, but this is all proposed anyway, so the reason why you're
Major full site plan's not what the ordinance says.
not my question. My question is, why are we scratching out a line in the proposed versus, I mean, in this in the iterative process?
Yeah, so this is a red line revision that's been changed multiple times.
Right.
So my terminology I used wasn't,
So if we go to public hearing, we should probably just remove major.
oh, yeah, this will be, you guys give us that direction to move forward. Then
And
it's
create a clean copy.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, you're fine.
Now, where did we come up with this? Like the setbacks from 100 foot to 300 foot? Where'd that come from?
So those were based on research that I did, kind of just nationwide, kind of averages. And there was discussion to extend those setbacks. And again, those are certainly up for debate. And we were just, I'm just making those suggestions. As far as an increase, if the commission feels they would like something different, then, we can certainly make these changes.
So I went on my trusty AutoCAD site today and I did a hypothetical 100-acre square parcel. And I applied a 300-foot setback from all perimeter. And that leaves you with it takes it from 100 acres to 50 acres to develop. If you went with 150 feet, that still takes it from 100 acres to 75 acres. And you can build a sheets 75 feet from a property line, and you're going to get a lot more impact on your resident from a sheets than you are from a solar panel that's not going to make any noise. So personally, I think that's a bit much. But that's
Yeah,
just
that's
me.
whatever the commission desired. We can leave it at 100, we can reduce it.
Most of these projects are well over 100 acres though. So if you have an 100 acre parcel that's owned by one property owner, it's combined with other parcels in order to make. I mean, I think the smallest one we have in the county is 500 acres or something like that. So, and then those setbacks aren't gonna apply at the
But-
borders of,
But,
only at.
If they're
Right.
contiguously owned by
Right.
the same, yeah,
but not necessarily.
well, you don't need internal setbacks and buffer requirements are exempt if they are, if they're part of the project and they're contiguously. They're
Was-
all owned by the same.
Was your assumption based on it being in conjunction with other properties for the same project or?
No, I just took
100
a
acres?
hypothetical 100-acre parcel and see how that setback would affect it.
right?
So, and you said you took a national average. What, what states were you getting?
I wanna say,
That's kind of important.
It is.
Yeah,
You go out west and you got.
Yeah, and what was their setbacks
I want
for
to
the
do-
building?
New England.
Setbacks.
I can't remember where it was in New England. It was just it was random. Is it Connecticut? California, Connecticut.
Well, yeah, look at where you're looking.
Yeah, again, I just,
Well,
my understanding of the commission push to extend those setbacks, so.
Some of the biggest pushbacks when we had the 50 feet is that it was far too low. And so finding a happy medium. Now, he said 300 was in the middle.
So, you know, you make a
So-
statement and you say 100 acre parcel. Take 100 acre farm, you can cherry pick 100 acre farm. So what we're doing is, if we put setbacks like that, what we're actually doing is we're saying, yeah, you're good, you can make good money. No, you can't make good money because you have 100 acres. No, you have 300 acres you can make. So we're actually picking and choosing on who's gonna make the money out of this. So we're setting what's going up.
Actually, more important than.
And the money goes down as the acreage goes down that you can put a footprint on. And I know this because they've approached me years ago. We said, no, it's not for me. But you know that.
I just don't know what's the deal with having setbacks that far.
I
If you
mean,
can have a house 50 foot off of it and they can have one, you know, I can just give you an example, one of my farms, I was gonna have 14 new neighbors, 50 foot off the property line. Well, I'd sure rather, instead of having 50 yards to look at a solar panel. I don't hear nothing out of them.
the dogs don't bark at you.
Dogs don't bark at me, they don't throw trash over on me, that kind of thing. I mean, other than the look, I don't get it. I mean,
More important than the width of setback is gonna be the density of the buffer.
Amen.
that's what it is.
And
Yeah.
there is a already built in that if you have an adequate landscape buffer, you take that setback.
The
back.
challenge is we don't right now
Right.
have an adequate
Feet.
landscape buffer.
Right.
He's going in.
And I think the point too is that the premise here is that we're putting something that, in the view of a lot of people, is an industrial operation where people live. And so we need to have more robust setbacks. I mean, somebody buys a house, they know they might have a neighbor someday, but they're not expecting that suddenly the county's gonna
Well,
permit an industrial operation to go in next door.
This is
And that-
considered an industrial use. So
I understand, but what, didn't we have a county commissioner that dealt with a realtor that said that that's where they wanted their houses right against the solar? Wasn't that brought up here?
Yeah, that wasn't county commissioner, that was.
I mean, planning commission, that was you. They
Right,
bought those right there because they knew what was behind them. They didn't have them noisy dogs living right behind.
All right, well, I'm gonna chime in on some of this right here from a land use perspective. And this is, again, number one, I think to your point, the 2 to 300, that's gonna be challengeable in kind of land use law. Cause that's what we call a taking. You're taking enough of the property that it makes it unusable for a specific use. So it could be challengeable. So we may want to take a look at some, maybe reducing that back to the 150-ish range. Now, we have a light industrial use, okay? So there's a time and a place for all these uses. If the will of the commission and the county is that we want to allow this use for, to allow people to use their land that way, that's fine. But I also think we need to understand that once you set a condition where you're allowing certain types of industrial uses, you're inviting in other types of uses, which you really may not want. And that's when, I think this is frequently, this county, local jurisdictions, as well as cities have struggled with this idea about industrial. So I think we need to be very careful about saying you want something industrial is okay, because it could be more than one thing. It's not just a solar farm. Okay, so I would recommend and maybe get some staff some other alternatives and maybe see what some calculations on maybe a 200 to 300 acre, or see what a reasonable size that we can maybe expect versus 100 acres, but that's definitely not gonna work.
I'm not sure I'm fully understanding.
So,
Let me ask a question.
Sure.
About this then. If solar panels are allowed within that zoning classification, how can other industrial uses also be allowed within that zoning classification?
I apologize. Just to clarify, it's, solar farms are considered commercial use.
That's what I was wanting to ready to ask. Is it commercial, light industrial?
Where you get?
I had changed it to industrial last fall, but then the commission motion to leave appendix C as it is.
Okay, and that's, I'm just trying, I'm not questioning, I'm just trying to understand.
You can label it however the county wants to, okay, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is you also, you can get people that will invite another industrial type use that we may not want in our rural areas. That may be more noxious, be detrimental to other properties around it, so we need to be very careful about.
But if they're not zoned,
Same.
if that use is not zoned, is not allowed within the zone, then they would have to come for a waiver. And we would have the opportunity to.
I'm just-
It's codified, I guess what I'm saying is if it's codified, they can come and ask for anything they want.
That's
And
right,
they
you
can
make
sue
that,
for anything.
but if you open, again, this is things where
Like a direction.
it's a direction, you set a precedent. Okay, is it precedent that you're allowing commercial use in a rural area? Yes. Okay, fine.
I would agree with you if the precedent was we are allowing a waiver, we are allowing it as a
I
waiver.
think we're probably communicating about two different things. We're probably
Maybe
communicating,
we are.
the communicating is that you've labeled it commercial here, right? But it's more akin, in the planning world, it's more akin to a light industrial use. Okay, I'm not saying that, the decision was wrong, but I'm saying is that if you continue on with these types of uses, you can end up with other things you do not want next to your farm. And people argue that. Okay, once we get more people, you're gonna get more people that are gonna be a little bit more adept in understanding that we don't have a lot of case law. And we'll set precedent by allowing other things to come into our county that we not want, so I'm just.
You're trying to make us aware.
What's that?
You're trying to make us aware.
That's right, so what I'm telling you is, okay, we wanna do this, so, okay, the direction's already been set. So 150, maybe 200, see what the calculations are, what's a reasonable size of a solar farm, not 100 acres, because we know that's not gonna be economically, that's not really feasible. For somebody, if they're gonna do it at scale and ship that energy off to somebody else, so they're gonna need something fairly large. So let's do a calculation based on, 300 acres or whatever it is you could find, that might be a little bit more reasonable.
Do you have an
Reduce that
acreage size? Did you see an acreage size? What's a typical solar farm nationwide?
Most,
I would say,
under 100
Yeah,
100 acres?
for a long, well, the adjoining states that we have and adjoining counties that we have that have industrial.
yeah. I don't
Scale
recall
solar.
what the national-
I can tell you can drive 30 minutes from here and see 4 of them that are under 100 acres. And they're very well buffered, and you don't even know you're going past the son of a gun until you've gone past it and you see a gap where the pond is. That's one in Frederick. You can go right over MCI and there's one sitting right over there. And you've got 4 that you drive by in Mercersburg, Pennsylvania, and they're sitting on right beside dairy farms. So, and they're under 100 acres. You're going up in Pennsylvania, they're smaller.
Well, let me say this, let me just throw this out here. I think the solar industry is dead. I don't think we're gonna see another solar farm proposed in Jefferson County. I think that what we have already seen, I don't think we have 5 that have gone through the process. I don't think we're gonna see all of those built. I think we may see 1 or more or 2 more built. And that's just not Jefferson County. I think that's nationwide. The money's gone. There is no more money for solar farms.
so the panels themselves are not very efficient. We haven't got to that point where they're extremely efficient to gain a lot of electricity based on my research. I'm looking into things like hydrogen, where they do have panels, and like hydrogen, like sunlight and water. Those may be some of the things that come down the pike, but I don't know that. You may be right, and I kind of tend to have an inkling that may be happening, with whether hydrogen is going to catch on or not, or something else, but I would just recommend we just think carefully about.
Well, I
But
think
it really
it's still
is.
worth pursuing, but I don't think there's a sense of urgency that we.
No, but I think
You're-
also the buffering has to be really well done. I think if you're actually gonna control that.
So on that one, Ed, can you go over what we're proposing to beef up the buffer?
Yes, so. It's on. Refer to section 3, landscaping and buffer standards. The solar panels should provide a minimum of 50-foot wide vegetative buffer. Contain staggering triple rows, native evergreen trees.
Which page are we on?
They're not numbered pages.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's,
Those
We're
for
all
you.
on the same page here.
Yeah.
it is page 1, right, 2, 3, 4, page 6. Yep.
County and the cover page.
County is everything.
Here, yes.
So under section F, where you,
I'm looking at setbacks, I state buffering standards. Right there.
so the 50-foot triple, row native buffer, minimum 8 feet in height from time of planting. There's space to be allowed a minimum of 75% visual capacity year round with 2 years of installation. Their clear cutting shall occur within the buffer zones unless specifically approved by the zoning administrator. Buffer vegetation shall be located as close as practicable to the solar panel while maintaining long-term phytotherapy effectiveness. Fast use of fast-growing species and combination of slow maturing native trees is encouraged. 8-foot tall opaque fence may be used in lieu of or in addition to vegetative buffering. It goes into maintenance requirements.
Or again, more important than setbacks. This is
Is that buffer?
the buffering itself.
Vegetative screening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's what,
the tearing up all the ground that get down there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me is more important than any of it.
well, a lot of that too was, what people don't realize was the houses up on top of the hill. That's where crazy with a lot of the houses they pull up.
Well, I think, I just like to interject. I think we actually all agree on a majority of this. We have a lot of common ground, no pun intended.
A lot of fun stuff.
But I think, topsoil is probably one of the most important things, removal. And then buffers, but also vegetative screening. And there was a lot of lessons learned in this first project. They removed all the topsoil. They had almost, the buffers were what they were. And then the trees they planted were so low that it's gonna take probably 10 years to
Yeah, they were short trees.
very
They're-
short. So, the neighbors, St. James, that there's a lot of visual impacts and an appraisal term is called external obsolescence, when something outside your property can have the ability, and I know you might disagree with me, but can have the ability to take away value on your property value. So if this is gonna be done, we want it done with integrity so that it's not impacting neighboring
Well,
landowners,
then
but still giving the farmer
Right.
their right to develop, but you have to have that balance so that both feel like they're walking away with something, their rights
Right.
and their rights.
So why don't we do this tonight? Why don't we table this tonight? So I haven't even looked at this. I didn't even know it was a meeting tonight. So why don't we table this tonight? If one for 2 people, 3 people, let me know. I mean, I was prepared for next week. Why don't we, I'll make a motion, we table this. And then, have a chance to look it over. And then, I guess next meeting or something, we give everybody get a chance to look over setbacks, buffering things a little more. And then, we bring it back up again, discuss it again.
Bruce, there's the zoning side of it, and then there's the subdivision side of it. Do you
Can
want
I-
to
can I
table
say-
both
can I
of
say
them?
Do this table, both of them.
Can I stay on the zoning side for a second though? 3A starts out saying solar panels shall provide. Is there a better way to say that? And I don't know the answer to that question, but I read this out of context almost, so it's
Where's the motion?
There's a motion on the table. Do I hear a second?
second.
Second. It's been probably moved to second to table the zoning part and the planning part.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Yeah.
Discussion.
Yes, discussion.
Andy, so
I object. I agree with Commissioner Shep that the market for this is drying up. That makes it less urgent, but it hasn't dried up yet. And it was driven from the beginning by federal tax credits. Those are still in place for projects that are commenced before the end of 2027. So this is very much a live issue. It has been a major issue in this county. And this has been before the planning commission. I commend staff on the work. I think you've done a great job on this. I think we have enough that we should be going forward to public hearing. We can all study in the meantime. And be prepared, because again, that won't be final after a public hearing, could still tweak things. But this was literally referred to the planning commission by the county commission in December of 2023. And it's time to deal with it. I mean,
Well, my opinion, we do have two new members here that seems like they did a little research on it. I think we all need more time. I mean, I know you all are new, you're ready to go, you've researched it before, but that's just my opinion. We've got a motion on the table, we got a second.
Point of
Any more
order.
discussion?
Could
Can I-
staff have an idea of when it would be postponed to in the motion?
Now, I made a motion to postpone it. I think, I'm trying to put a,
Why don't you and Tim work that out?
okay, more, then we can put it back on the agenda then.
We'll work it out.
So let's go back to my discussion point. Did you catch what I said?
Yeah, you said there's a better way of saying solar panel.
Solar panels shall provide, just sounds like this. I'm reading this thing and almost saying that you could say that each panel would require 50-foot level.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's not the intent.
Well, I mean, that's the intent of the table.
Right, but
You can go through this,
we
you
can
can
go
make
through
your
this, we
notes,
can go all
and when we
night
come
tonight.
back with the discussion, you have all
Right.
yours, everybody have everything and just lay it out there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a couple of requests of staff so they can kind of get
well,
back.
that's the purpose of doing
Well,
this.
I'm trying to, so they have some, information what we're kind of looking for. Number one, obviously, those things are good. Number one is obviously, taking another look at the buffers and typical site.
Setbacks.
Yeah, maybe some regional side, better size adjustments, so we can have a better discussion about what actually a development might look like and what that results might be. I do think it should be scaled back if you can kind of look into that. The other one is, I do appreciate, there is a lot of work that's gone into this, so I appreciate that. I don't know, and I'll defer to, our staff here on, tree replacement. Some of these may require tree removal, and I don't know if there's anything in our ordinances, so forgive me, you'll have to educate me on that. If there's tree replacement requirements above a certain caliber, obviously they probably need to go in the buffer.
I can address that. There is.
Awesome. Okay, so maybe we need to refer to that if it doesn't already. So those, replacement is inclusive of whatever else they're asking.
There's a time when,
We
Okay,
can bring us up later over here.
once the bond's released,
we
don't have maintenance bonds.
yeah, okay,
So,
fair enough.
You got it in there, and like 10% of the earth can be moved or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't remember what I read.
that's in the sub side of it. We got 15% of disturbance.
I thought.
So then we need to look, we need
Yeah,
to.
it needs to be looked at parts. That's why I table the
I
motion.
mean, we got a good start here.
Right.
It's got a good start here. The buffering thing, setbacks need a little tweaking maybe.
It's 50.
But anyway, we got a motion on the table. It's been moved and seconded. We've done had discussion.
more,
Okay,
discussion.
So,
more
yeah.
discussion, please.
Yeah, I did want to add in, if we're gonna table it, if this is for the purpose of the new planning commissioners, I would like to ask them if that's the purpose of this table.
No, it's
Well-
the table for everybody. I just made that statement
Is it a
in my
statement?
discussions, as everybody else is discussing. That's just my opinion. These two got some good knowledge here. They're brand new on here. You're throwing something at them that,
Well, yes, I just wanted to ask, do you feel like this is being thrown at you, or do you feel confident?
No, I'm
moving
confident what
forward?
I've already kind of reviewed what I think is in here, things I'm curious about. And the last one was just decommissioning, make sure there's a definition what that means, so there's not happen, and those are the only things I had, those are into my comments, thank you.
all right, well, let's vote on the motion at hand. All in favor of tabling it, and, staff is gonna tweak some things and get with me about getting it on the agenda in next future meetings.
So just so I understand for the point of this motion, do you want it to include the direction to either tweak or to do additional research? Just because you want us to.
Yeah,
come up
do
with
additional
facts?
research that
Right.
he asked for, and yes. And
Okay.
tweak it.
Right.
Bring back a clean copy.
And clean copy.
Plain
yes.
copy, understood.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, of tabling it, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Nay,
motion carries.
Could I ask that typically we get these the Friday before the meeting, and I need a little bit more time than that. I frankly haven't looked at this before today. I didn't have time to do it, and it's a lot more complicated than I thought it was gonna be. Is there any way to get it out? Well, if it came out,
Came out Thursday.
it came out it came out Friday, I think,
I got Thursday.
Thursday.
You hadn't had anybody come in on staff yet, have you?
No.
Not till this, yeah.
Well, I withdraw my comment. I just have to live with it.
A loophole, buddy.
Could
All
we
right,
have-
reports?
All right, next item on the agenda is item number 4.
Mr. President, can I make another comment in terms of issues that we should be researching them in the meantime? I came in prepared tonight to move that we amend this proposal in various ways. The most fundamental way would be to go back to Commissioner Hayes' proposal that would limit industrial scale solar to industrial zone land. And I understand it's something you all have talked about before and you've rejected, but again, there are new commissioners on the commission now, and I think I have information that hasn't been discussed by the commission that is relevant to that. So I've paid close attention to the deliberations over the years. As I said, this started back in December of 2023, and you'll recall that it came to the planning commission because the county commission had, in a way that was deemed to be improper, voted to repeal.
So the way that came in front of us, when I'm looking back, you could only put them in industrial zones, which would be your Burr Park and one out on Wheatland.
That's it.
And that did no good. And I'll just tell you what was said at the meeting, Mike Shep brought, the farmers asked for this to be on farms, not in an industrial park. And that's why,
The whole
Right,
idea of solar was to benefit farmers. That was our mandate from the county commission.
Respectfully, that
Mr. President, I ask a point of order. We've already tabled this and we should be going on to section 4.
all right,
I
we've done
beg you
voted.
to just, we have one item on the agenda. I beg you to just hear me out on this issue because it's,
We'll have discussion on it again when it comes back up.
Well, okay,
It-
so.
because there's a matter of research that I have a disagreement with Mr. Stepp on that question. And you all may want to research it in the meantime. Because I'm here to tell you that the issue of solar where people live was a major issue in the campaign in 2024. So again, that came after 4 members. If there was a lot of activity on that question at every candidate forum, and I think I went to every single one. And it was a major issue, and we saw every single candidate make some sort of pledge to stop this because it was such an issue of concern to the voters. My husband and I attended all of those. We heard it. We had handshakes with various candidates, but ultimately we decided we really want to pin the candidates down on this question. We published a letter to the editor in the Spirit. We asked for an explicit.
Well, it sounds like
pledge.
that you're bringing this as a political issue. It's not a political issue. We just want to.
I should have probably by saying.
But you didn't, but it's you just brought it up as a political issue. And I don't care about a political issue. What we're bringing up is what people want to do. And if the farmers were asked to bring this in front of them, which it was, then we have to serve everybody in this county.
I'm
Totally.
saying we are subordinate to the county commission. They are the policymakers. We make policy recommendations, but if we know that the county commission is opposed to having more solar, utility scale solar where people live, then we should take account
Why
of
don't they
that.
just say they don't want any more solar and ban it?
I mean, they've already said they don't want more, they've already said they don't want any more farms because they're building houses.
So I think,
Because it has to be referred that, like I said,
If the county-
procedurally, it had to go to the planning
If
commission
the
where it's
county
been for
commission
2.5
told us we
years.
don't want any more solars, we don't want it to be a permitted use anywhere, we would do that.
Amen.
They are the.
There you go.
Problem
So
solved.
what's the occasion for them to do that? I'm telling you that they all made a pledge to have no more solar. All the candidates who were elected
Well, that would be-
for.
that would
that's
be
what
But they were
So
elected,
if-
we were not.
Right.
You have to work on them, young
But-
lady.
No, we are subordinate. They are the governing authority. They set policy. We make recommendations. So I'm just saying, in a situation like this, where it's been sitting here for 2.5 years, there has been an intervening policy decision that is different than what the direction was.
Well, I think we're beating this dead horse right now. When motion, we put it on the table.
okay, so I'd like
Tonight.
to put a motion on the floor. On that agenda item I'd like to motion that we put this on an upcoming meeting to readdress, to put a timeline, because we did not put that in our amendment in a June meeting. Would that be appropriate? Feasible?
It's,
It's done been voted, it's
Right.
second on, it's
It's already
passed,
done.
it's tabled, staff's supposed to come back to
Put it on the
that.
table.
And when they got it ready, they're gonna come and put it back on the
Right.
agenda. Couple,
So I have. a
maybe
motion-
not next month, the month after, whenever, a little bit down the road.
I have a motion on the floor
Do I hear a second?
What is-
Second.
What is the motion again?
that we have this brought back to our June meeting so we can discuss in further
I
detail.
can't hear you.
Okay,
Just bring it back in June to discuss.
Who's got a motion on the table to bring it back in the June meeting? And we have a second. Any discussion?
Discussion, Luke, is your team capable of that?
Actually, the question is, better over here.
Yes, I mean, a few, points have been brought up, that won't be a hard fix.
And this would allow staff to look at the buffer, lowering the buffer, as we talked about, and the impacts on larger farmland. This is fair. This is not insane. I think that's this, as, Ms. Edwards, Commissioner Edwards has brought up, this has been kicked down the street for 2.5 years. So I think it is fair to put some sort of
Oh,
timeline.
no, wait a minute,
on
it hasn't
this.
been kicked down. If we took it to staff 2.5 years ago, and this is the first time we've gotten it back
Mhm.
in completed form.
We've talked about this at several meetings.
We have.
Yeah, so I just like to have it at the.
We could also at that time bring up whether or not it's
By the way-
appropriate to only put this in industrial zones or leave it where it is. And that's a discussion point that we can then vote on as a body here.
Right.
And we can go forward from there.
And it's also been brought up that this is a political thing to hold the commissioners feet to the
Right.
fire, and it is an election year.
And personally, I don't like this solar thing.
I don't,
Yeah,
I
me
don't
neither.
like, we don't like it, but we didn't.
I was
run for
offered to
office.
put it
We're
up,
not
I
in
said no.
Right,
The county commission could easily say that. There's been stuff we sent to them and, oh, we don't like it, and they do it their own way.
Right.
Right, my only suggestion is that time is of the essence at this point, given that it's been 2.5 years, that we could go ahead to.
Time is the essence for what? There's no more solar projects like coming. I mean,
Well,
time is the essence because we got
We'll
election
follow
coming up.
Existing
If
projects.
somebody applies tomorrow,
Hell with all this political
What
shit.
happens?
Let's do what's right. That's what I'm saying.
it's,
I don't give a
All right.
ass about none of
Well, we're
it.
gonna keep beating this
I
dead
think we're
horse.
beating around because you guys.
We got a motion, we got a second.
Can I just?
Discussion. Who-
Wait,
All in favor of, what was the motion again? To
Yeah.
bring it up to next June meeting, staff have it by the next June meeting, you can do that.
May I clarify one thing?
Yes.
You were talking about reduction in buffer. We're just
Setback.
specifically talking about reduction in setbacks. The buffer,
yeah, sorry.
the
sorry,
buffer
that's
changes
not-
are acceptable.
The vegetative screenings are good. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think the 300 foot's too much, so, and Mr.
Right,
Garcia
300
kind of agreed.
Yeah.
Too, yeah. So it's been moved and second, all in favor of bringing it back in the June meeting, signify by raising your hand. Got 4. All opposed?
I only took June meeting because I think it's gonna come back in the June meeting anyway.
Wait, you didn't vote.
Where did you vote?
Oh,
That was nay, correct?
yeah, I'll just say nay, so.
So that's 4 and 4, now what?
Staff, you sure?
Motion
you be
fails.
prepared?
Failed.
And you go with the
I
private.
know you are short staffed, I mean, I don't wanna push you into anything you're not ready for.
Yes, again, I mean,
I got some ideas myself, but I'm not bringing it up tonight. I mean, it's already tabled.
But Tim, if you could get it on June meeting, I would be fine with that.
If they can get it on the June meeting, call me and
I
We'll
mean,
let you know.
they won't have anybody, staff start until what, first?
I want everybody here to feel like they have time too.
Right.
and just,
All right,
I was just gonna say,
Where's
so
our
you know,
meeting?
too, in the sub-regs,
Right.
there's a whole new section added on reflectivity.
It's gonna
We're
take
gonna
some
bring that
time.
up as well.
Yes.
Well, what activity?
Reflectivity of the actual panels.
Yeah.
this don't need to be rushed through in June meeting, as
Right.
far as I'm concerned.
The section is ready. The land development inspector put a lot of work, especially doing research on the technical aspects of how reflectivity work. It's one of the biggest concerns we've had from the community at large. So I urge all the commissioners to really pay some close attention to those sections. Thank you, Mr. Bell, for bringing that up. I was thinking about it as well.
All right, agenda item number 4, reports from legal counsel.
Mr. President, can I make we're gonna have to go into executive session for this? No, okay,
As far as I'm concerned,
I'm withdraw my comment.
I will phrase it like this. I'm just telling you where we are procedurally. The matter is in front of the Supreme Court. The parties are exchanging and filing briefs before the Supreme Court at this meeting. There has been a motion to intervene by the Chamber of Commerce, which,
Like a state chamber of commerce?
Yeah.
so they're intervening in the case.
To intervene on whose side?
I would read it that they're intervening on the side of the developer.
Cycle.
I think they're really just talking about the effects, more about the effects of the development or different developments on business unit. So. We objected to that intervention. The foundation objected to it. So that's where we are. If you want more than that, then I would go into executive session, but really, there's not much to say.
Have they made has the court made a decision about the intervener?
I believe that they have, you realize I'm not your counsel for
I know,
that case,
I understand.
but I believe that they have, I felt confident that they would allow the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
But,
Wait.
nonetheless,
Yeah.
that's where we are.
Okay.
I could say more, but really, there's not much progress or anything other than just the briefing is going on, even if we went into executive
So
session.
you still have no idea when the accident decided?
No, I mean, at this point, it will be probably in the fall or winter, in the spring next year.
In other words, they'll wait till after elections.
I don't think it has so much to do with elections, it's just,
So they're at business.
the Supreme Court doesn't care about our elections, I don't think.
Okay.
But they're just, that's just kind of the timetable that it explains.
Okay.
That all?
That's all.
Yeah.
All right, agenda item number 5, planners memo.
Unfortunately, I do not know at this time when additional staff members will be joining us. I have been told by HR it'll either be in late May and the county planner would be joining in mid-June. That's really all an update, just as a way of saying, right now it's a 3-member office and we are pushing through just to make sure we are meeting all of our requirements of the ordinance and how our reviews are staggered, just so you know our current status of any requests you have. We're doing them as best we can. If you have any questions, of course, just let us know. But that's just our current status of the office itself.
Can I ask a question? So you have selected a candidate and a job has been offered. Have they accepted?
Yes, we have had accepted applicants for the county planner position, the planning clerk position, and then both intern positions. So we're gonna have a lot of new people in just in a little bit.
It's gonna take y'all a while to get a place spun up for any of those interns in quick. Still.
Yes to all of that. It's gonna be a lot of it's gonna be a lot of training, bringing people up to speed, hopefully handing off different responsibilities to them so they can start helping out with staff bandwidth. And then interns, they're normally a force multiplier for us and doing research. Obviously, we've got other stuff, both coming down the pipeline in terms of text amendments, various directives. So they'll be working on that. One of the interns is not really going to be doing anything before planning commission. They are just digitizing files, which has been a long-term project. But the planning intern has been very helpful over the last 3 years in working on the comprehensive plan or on text amendments, and that's what this one will be doing as well.
All right, number 6, president's report. I have none. Number 7, actual correspondence.
We have not received any actionable correspondence or non-actionable correspondence.
Number 8, that takes care of that. Will we adjourn? Second. Been properly moved to second, we adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Adjourned.
Mr. President, I have one thing I need you to sign. The Supreme Court will be made bigger.